Hi, welcome. Let's talk about gimbals and let's talk about gimbals that are meant for cell phones and mobile devices. So I've had the chance of testing out and reviewing four. So four in total, and I've researched a lot. And here's my takes on the four. And it's going to be a list. So it's going to be 4-to-1, essentially based on my experiences. We've got the DJI Osmo 6. We've got the Zhiyun Smooth 5S. We have the Insta 360 Flow and the Hohem Isteady MT2. Okay, that's all four of them. And essentially it's in that order. So we'll go from 4-to-1 and I'll kind of just give it away, but I'll talk a little bit about each. So the DJI Osmo 6, really good. I like the features, but I liked what the Insta360 Flow was doing a little bit better. So it's a fantastic little device. You know, it's quick, rapid deployment. So you just flip it up, the little clip goes in your phone, and you put it on your phone, and away you go. The app is fantastic. The tracking can be done. I'm going to put it that way. The tracking is a thing on that gimbal. I just felt like the Insta360 Flow did it better. So that's my number 4 slot. Great, but I think there's better out there. My number 3 spot went to the Zhiyun Smooth 5S. So that gimbal, I actually settled on it. I did a review on it, and I really, really liked it. And there's some features on there that just really impressed me. The tracking I liked it. Let's put it that way. It was good until I tried out the Insta360 Flow again. The features that it possesses, the styling of it, the things it comes with, I think it is a very valid mobile gimbal that you could absolutely utilize, get it, and love the features of it. The reason I liked that specific gimbal was because of the movement you could do, the tilt axis, that you could utilize all of the types of shots that you'd want to get with no restrictions on that type of gimbal, whereas the DJI Osmo 6 did have some restrictions. And also, weirdly enough, my number 2 spot, the Insta360 Flow, does also have them same restrictions as the DJI Osmo 6. But where this one, specifically why I liked it, was the AI tracking. And what it does is you track a subject, you draw a box around it, or you press the button in it, and it finds a subject. And it continues tracking, even if, say, it goes behind an object, it goes behind a person, it will basically continue looking for your subject to the left, to the right of that subject until it finds it again, and away you go. So there's some circumstances I've used this gimbal. Say, for instance, I recorded a video for my gym, and I was recording the trainer, and it was following them around. And my trainer is all over the gym. She's very active, and this thing tracked her for the most part. I would go back to it occasionally, so I'd put it on the side and start tracking her. And I would go back to it occasionally. It would be off doing its own thing, but for the most part, it kept her in the center of the frame and was tracking. And it'll even do an auto zoom feature where it'll kind of focus in on their face. For what this does, the innovations it is kind of brought to the gimbal marketplace for mobile is you got a tripod in its base. It's fine. It's not perfect, but it works. Personally, I went with that combo. So I found this great little product. I will, if you can read that. So this thing is great. Put this on there, and that was my setup for the most part. This thing, this thing's fine in a pinch, but I prefer something a little bit more steady. It does that, and it also does that. Gives you a little bit more flexibility with the types of shots you can get. And this is still going to be a valid part of our, by the way, that's it, right? And there's a clip. This is still going to be a very valid part of my videography toolkit because it's cool and it's mainly for family stuff. The tracking on this just really is very good and very usable. Other tracking I've used in many different products, a lot of the times the tracking just gives up too easily. If your subject goes out of frame, it's like, where's my subject? I'm just going to give in. This continues to try, even if it goes behind object. So I give this a thumbs up, but of course it is just for cell phones, something to keep in mind. And the reason it's something to keep in mind is because, number one, the Hohem Isteady MT2, this is good for phones. This is good for cameras. This is good for GoPro style action cameras with the feet. This is going to be my primary gimbal for day-to-day use because it can incorporate all three of the types of cameras that I'm going to be using, including cell phone, and it also has tracking. This little camera right here, this thing, let's do a little bit slower. So this thing this camera right here operates completely separate from your actual camera, your phone, whatever. And this tracks a subject. You turn it on up here. It's powered by the gimbal. And once turned on, and you do a gesture such as this, or you can reframe. So this is start, this is stop, this is reframe with 2 fingers. It will see that gesture and it will follow the subject. And the gimbal is 360, so it can basically, you can put it in the middle of something and it can just go around and round and round. Does the Insta360 Flow do some things better than this? Yes. Time lapses, things like that. The AI component of the Flow is really good, really well implemented. But this, with the cameras I have and the freedom of movement you can get, I've been testing it out the last couple of days. I'm just so impressed. I wasn't sure if I was going to keep this one. I was going to send it back, but this is going to be my primary one going forward. It has this came with it, so this little tripod stand. I also utilized it with my deal because I took this one off, and with the thread on the bottom, you can attach that. This can handle my Sony ZV-E10 very nicely. Of course, then a phone and a GoPro is so much lighter, so it's a breeze. A full review is going to come for this in the near future after I've tested out a little bit more, captured some footage. I actually shot today for a family friend a video of like a campaign for school president, and we did it in the style of a superhero, and we utilized this, got some cool shots with it, also utilized one of my drones and my phone camera for a few different things. For all round, highly recommend. And of the 4 that I've tested, again, this is number 1. It's the most capable. So I know I preface this saying this is a mobile phone list because all of the gimbals can do cell phones, mobile shooting. But if you have anything bigger, worth it. If it was down to a mobile phone only list, then yeah, maybe the Insta360 Flow would be number 1 on that list. But this is more. That's it. More is better, I think. And in this case, the more that this does makes it better, if that makes sense. All right. Well, that's my thoughts. That's my list on these 4 gimbals. Have a great day. Bye.